The SEO industry deserves a good-looking book. The kind of book that won't make your interns squirm if you ask them to read it, that will make the rest of your bookshelf look painfully boring. The SEO industry deserves this book. Boy, oh boy, it looks good. Heading to a client meeting? This book will add more sophisticated overpriced food court, walking with determination down a busy street, or just standing all serious on a flyover bridge? Everyone will know that you're learning SEO, and you'll look damn fabulous doing it. No one in the office joining you for a coffee break? Just find a colleague enjoying their lunch and hit them with some unsolicited SEO advice. Soon, everyone in the office will be begging you to improve their website. This book will make you go places. It will turn your world upside down. So hurry up and embark on a journey where knowledge meets fashion. Get your copy of the stunning SEO book for beginners now and conquer the SEO world in style.
The amount of bad press I've seen on myself on the internet is ridiculous.
Crypto.com shows up there. We always show up in a very dominant way.
That's a mistake that many startups or many even scale-ups make.
Do you want to give that person $1 million of your money?
Hello everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on AI tools in Ahrefs and upcoming features. So a combination of things that you may have already seen, some that you may not have seen, and some that many of us have not seen yet. I'm happy to share them with you today. Can I get a show of hands for those who have already joined in the chat? Please share where you are from and maybe how many years you've been doing SEO or marketing in general. Just to share a little bit about yourselves before we get started here. I know about 60 of you are watching right now. People are a bit shy to share about themselves in the chat. There we go. Yes, Arthur, there will be a replay. The recording of this automatically stays in this channel, so you can check back to this video later on whenever you like. So we have a combination of people that have been doing SEO marketing for a long time and some just less than a year. That's amazing. You have combination of like experienced people and new beginners. This webinar is for everyone, really, because we go through features that even people who are not subscribed can use. So that's exciting. Too long in marketing. That's all right. Never too long. It's a great space to be in. Okay, awesome. Welcome everyone. Thank you all for joining in from all over the world to this webinar. I'm so excited to get started here to talk about what everyone has been willing to talk about, excited to talk about, which is AI, but in the context of what AI can help you do on the Ahrefs platform. So let's begin quickly here. Now at Ahrefs, we look into ways AI can be applied more strategically, not just for one-click generation of stuff. Not to replace, but to enhance best practices for creating content and optimizing SEO, optimizing your web pages. We talk about some of that in the first, like here, we talk about AI for keyword research and content creation, but I'll also share about how you can use Ahrefs to monitor how often LLMs mention your brand. Most in particular is AI overviews in Google. And of course, in this fast-moving AI world, I'll share about the AI-related features that we're building like in the future. And they're coming out very soon. Some of them are coming out very, very soon. Some of them are coming less soon, but they will be happening around this year or so. And for this webinar, I will be, if there are any questions specific to what I've just mentioned or specific to this webinar, like if I just shown one feature or I have just shared something that you want more questions about, you can ask them. I'll try my best to answer them after every section. But if you have questions about Ahrefs in a more general sense, I will answer them after. At the end of the webinar, we have a Q&A session after the hour is over. So let's get started quickly so that we can cover as much content as possible before the hour is over. So let's first talk about AI for keyword research. Yes, a lot of these features, if you guys have a standard or higher plan, you've likely used these features before. But for those who don't have a standard or higher plan and would like to check out what these features do and see how it can help you do your keyword research faster or narrow down to keywords that maybe you've not realized are options based on what we provide as features, I will give you guys demonstrations. The first is AI suggestions. So if you'd like to follow along here, you can log into your Ahrefs account and go into Keywords Explorer. Keyword suggestions is this feature over here, where let's say if I want to do research on what's a good, let's say like basketball. But I want to do research on what kind of keywords are related to basketball, but I have a hard time coming up with keywords. I can just ask AI to help me here. Let's say emerging trends related to basketball. So AI will help me generate a ton of different keywords. A lot of them are long tail keywords. Maybe let's do short keywords. One word keywords related to basketball. So we can also do this, right? For example. And we can keep going down the list here and keep generating more and more keywords to search. And the reason why we can do that is because with every search, you can actually get the SEO metrics for up to 10,000 keywords at once. We have 41 here. And then we can see with the searches they've created, now we have all of the keyword metrics from all the keywords that we just generated, right? So that is quick and simple demo of how to do AI suggestions. Now, the second one is identify intents here. Where is this feature? For this feature is in any tool that has SERP overview. SERP overview. So let's go to this one here, crossover. This is in Keywords Explorer, but you know that SERP overview can be found also in the Site Explorer and Rank Tracker tools. And so if I want to look at the SERP overview, I want to see what are the top ranking results as well as the SERP features for the keyword crossover, and I see identify intents over here. See the sparkly icon. Anytime you see the sparkly icon, it means AI is powering this tool. So it's a quick and easy way to identify the search intents of the top ranking results here. Now we see that despite the fact that we generate this keyword based on the word basketball, this word also means other things related to software, right? But you see over here that people do have some search intent for sport. Very, very small search intent. The rest of it is related to jobs. So it's very important to, you can read the results here and get that conclusion as well, but sometimes it's not so explicit. Like an identify intents tool here is really helpful for you to sort them and see what percentage of search intent is shown here in the top results. This gives us a good idea of what exactly will be the users that are the searchers that are, when they type in crossover, what they're looking for, right? And this is useful if I want to go to, we can always do this for different SERPs. What's a good example here? Let's say I don't know what alley-oop means, right? This is like a term that I'm not familiar with. I can again use identify intents to understand what exactly people are searching for when they search for this term alley-oop. Here, so in this case, it is a name of a makeup brand, right? But also there's a small percentage of people that want to understand what it means. So that's a quick and simple demo of the identify intents tool. Let's go back. And here we have the third one being AI translations. So just now that I mentioned that sometimes you may not know or understand what the keyword is all about, especially if it's not in your mother tongue. So let's show you how AI translations work. AI translations is very useful for if you want to, let's say I have a bunch of keywords related to dog grooming, right? And now I want to see how, like, let's say I want to localize my content about dog grooming in a different language. So I can translate it to, and this time let's say Spanish. I go translate. A list like this usually takes a bit of time, but I like to show you live just to give an example of how it works. And you can do it for lots of different languages here, lots of different kinds of languages as well. I mean, like within Chinese, there's also traditional Chinese. There's different styles of Dutch. So you can really get to a quite local level. And if you have a language that you're interested here and you would like to get it supported, you can share it as a feature request in our feature request board. You can see all the different languages that we support here. All right, so here we go, it's done. This is the English, now this is the Spanish. Now you notice that there are multiple options. And the reason why there's multiple options is because there could be a few ways, I mean, just how translation works, to translate an English phrase to some other language, but some forms of it will have more search volume than others. And so you can pick and choose, like here I can pick this one and I can add it to a new keyword list, right? I'll make a new list that is in Spanish. Start adding this below the board and just keep going. So you can see that for every English word you have a few options, and so now you can pick the options that you like and add it to your search, add it to a new keyword list and then search that. So this is a helpful way for you to quickly get a list of keywords in a different language that you kind of already pre-screened to have some reasonable search volume. Like I can go down here and start clicking these because I can already see that they have some small but like non-trivial search volume that I can add to a keyword list and do further analysis, and then start writing content about them, start doing deeper dives to see how to rank against competitors for. Okay, so that is the quick and simple tutorial for demo of AI translations. I've quickly gone through these 3 simple features. So these were the features that we pushed out the earliest when AI first, when ChatGPT first came out and things like that. So they are quite simple, but they're very useful. I think they're still commonly used today to really speed up the work of either localizing the keywords that you rank for, like understanding the search intent of the keywords you're trying to rank for, as well as trying to generate all kinds of new keywords that people do search after researching through Keywords Explorer. So let's look into other tools that were pushed out later, that have gotten a bit more advanced, that we worked on. The first that I'm going to talk about is like a bunch of tools that anyone can use. Even if you're not a subscriber, anyone can use these. And you may not know about them, but we do offer them. So I'll show you how to get there. So it's ahrefs.com/writing tools. Ta-da! On this page, you can see that we have a number of different, these are free by the way, different AI tools to help you rephrase, rewrite paragraphs, check your grammar, create a conclusion to your essay, check for plagiarism. This one is interesting, right? As well as, translate to emojis, some fun ones as well. But it also goes into more specific to SEO marketing. You have those for creating ideas for your blog post, for video script, creating social media content here, like one for Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. And so the list goes on. One in particular is very interesting that I will share in a bit later, is our AI content detector and humanizer. So this is kind of beta, but like you can take some text that you have generated in AI and paste it here and use AI to sort of make it more human. Right, so let's say I'm going to take this paragraph that I've generated with AI. Here, and then we can see what it says, just to show you how it works. Now I can choose for multiple variants. So let's say I want to have 3 variants here. I'm gonna go ahead and humanize the text. All right, and so now there are multiple versions of this. 100% your text is likely AI generated. So you can give more. So this tool will help give some examples of how it can look less AI generated here. And you can use that and alongside many of the other tools that you see here. So without paying for anything, you can definitely check out these tools to see if it can help you like create, do your marketing work faster, create better content, whatever it is. Although, I mean, not necessarily, like, it's not a guarantee that the content will come out of these tools will be better. I mean, it still follows the rules of whether or not what you create is meaningful, is something that gives value to people. These things still have to be, that's just a disclaimer. Okay, don't be too excited to just like AI generate everything without first doing a manual check of what you're sending out into the world. Let's go back to the presentation to talk about, since I've shared about the free tools, now I'll show you about the more advanced AI content grader and AI content helper tools that we have pushed out. Originally, these were only in beta for enterprise grade subscribers. So anyone on an enterprise plan, generally they get a like a much earlier sneak peek on the new features and new tools that we push out. So, but here, these are already sort of live. I'll show you what AI Content Grader looks like. Here you go. So I put in the page AI, like for blog affiliate marketing. So what? Okay, let's start from the beginning here. Right. So let's say I want to, this blog of ours on affiliate marketing to be graded. And I want it to target affiliate marketing. All right, and I analyze. So what it does is that it compares this blog against the top 3 competitors that are also ranking for this keyword. And I can see, based on what the AI has, the grader, the AI content grader has done, it compares the content coverage of all these top ranking results. So it's saying, okay, you don't cover this topic very well. It's about compensation models, but the other competitors do. You can hover over to see why your blog is not graded as well as the other blogs on this. And you can also go down to like benefits and challenges, for example, and see how your competitors don't do as good of a job as you do. So these are the things to say, okay, you're doing better in terms of coverage on this topic as opposed to your competitors. This is either something you want to keep or maybe even improve further. And you can even see that here, for all these like 5 dots here, basically you're saying, hey, your article doesn't even cover these topics at all, but your competitors do, and some of them do it to a significant degree. So using a grader like this, you can see what are the areas your article can cover, or let's say, or I mean, depending on your choice, to see whether or not it would A, result in a better reading experience, more meaningful article for your readers, and B, so like to improve your chances after improving your topic coverage, to increase your ranking in search results. All right, so here are some, and then in this section here, they give some suggestions on what you can do based on the grade, based on your coverage of topics. It suggests what you can do, include a timeline of key milestones in evolution of affiliate marketing, etc., etc. Again, this is AI, so you can take a pinch of salt, but it's like a really good starting place to get an idea of what exactly is a meaningful thing to try. Instead of like floundering to say, okay, I have to read my top competitors and sort of figure out what's going to work. You have a starting place to say, okay, these are things that I can add to my article to improve the reading experience to improve its like chances of ranking higher in the SERPs for this keyword. This is affiliate marketing United States. Right, so this is AI content grader. This is how it works. We took that to the next stage. So after a tool like this, you can take it to the next stage with AI content helper. I want to try and do a live demo here. So can I see some suggestions? Sorry, AI content grader and AI content helper are only available if you have the add-on. Sorry, I forgot to mention it. This one here. Content Kit add-on. Okay? This is the Content Kit add-on. You need this add-on. You can buy this add-on at any subscription tier. You do not need something in specific. You can even buy this on a starter plan. Yeah. So this is, if you have the Content Kit add-on, you have access to AI Content Helper and AI Content Grader. Okay. Yes, thank you, Rebecca, for helping me. I'm so sorry, guys. I forgot to mention, my teammate Rebecca is here to help answer questions and moderate the chat. So if you have any questions that I'm not able to get to or that they're quickly to answer, Rebecca is there to help answer them for you guys. Okay, so can I have some suggestions for a keyword that you'd like to target? Please. So like, let's say we want to write an article together. Like some suggestions in the chat of a keyword that we would like to create an article for and then target. Wait for the chat to come in here. Okay, we have customer service. What else? Looking for some interesting ones to see what sort of article we can write together. Oh, we are very shy, huh? Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead with digital locking systems here. This is a keyword that I think is interesting that we can write about. Here you go, digital locking systems, right? For our purposes, we're gonna just try to compare for United States. We create a document here. So what it does right now after we enter the keyword is that it's looking for the SERP, the freshest SERP for the keyword that we just entered in. Yes, Sadie, keyword translation, AI translation tool is available for standard and higher plans. Okay, so we have now entered in digital locking systems. You can see there is a KD of 54, search volume about 20. All right, and we see that for this keyword, in the search results, there are multiple search intents. People are looking for comparison and reviews, purchase options for digital locking systems, understanding technologies of different locking systems. The highest ranking ones are usually about comparison and reviews. But for the purposes of today's demo, so you can choose which one you want to optimize for, because like the ball's in your court. You want to decide these are the top ranking results. Based on that, do you want to compete with these articles that rank, and what sort of article in general that you want to write when trying to rank for digital locking systems. So for the purposes of today, I want to, let's say, understand types and technologies of digital locking systems. This is what I want to optimize for, right? I'm going to choose this one and I'm going to continue. This isn't loading here. Okay. All right, so now we have shown like an editor screen. This is AI Content Helper here. You can see that I can type into the space here, and I can, I can change this into headings and paragraphs. I can even add in images and media content into the space. But this is your space basically to put in all the content that you plan to write for. Currently, our content score is 0 on the right-hand side here. We have 0 because we have no words. We can then also like put in a title tag and meta description. So for the purposes of today's demo, please don't actually do this, but for the purposes of today's demo, I am going to create an article about digital locking systems so that we have some content to work with here, right? Just give me a moment here. So I'm using AI in the background to kind of create an article for us very quickly, just to show you how it works. Let's say I'll quickly create this article. All right, I've created a quick outline of digital locking systems. Just from the outline alone, I already have a content score, because it's saying, because the way that the content score works is that it looks at what you have written in the content and it tries to see how well you cover the topics that your competitors already cover very well. In fact, here there's some suggestions on like different terms that you can use to include into your article to make sure you talk about them, that you cover them, because people are searching for it. That's why the top results are the top as they are, because you can see that like it covers a lot of topics that people are looking for when they are searching for digital locking systems, Bluetooth technology, different locking mechanisms, right? Tutorials on how to use them, things like that. So now let's say I actually put the article in. Again, don't actually do this without checking it first. We assume that, because otherwise you're not going to get very good, you're not going to get very happy readers, I would say. Okay, so we have an article and you can see that it like for each of these topics, it scores. So it says this topic addresses considerations for selecting a suitable digital locking system. That's great. Let's move on to something that it scored, like this article scored really poorly on, which is industry specific solutions. So it's saying like it's great for like, you know, the person at home, like the general public, but what if we need to look at digital locking systems for specific industries? People might want to understand about that. We can go into this second tool, which is to ask AI. So I can ask, there's this AI chat here, and I can ask AI, what do my competitors say on this topic? Or what insights can I add that competitors don't have? Let's do that. And so this helpful chat, I mean, these are suggestions that you can ask AI chat for, but you can ask anything, right? And what it does is that what is very helpful is that this AI chat already has context of what you have written here, as well as the topic that you have selected here. And it will give you some suggestions on how you can like highlight industry-specific customer case studies, right? Things like that. They have some suggestions. Okay, so this is like all of these are just useful ways to use AI to get the information they need quickly as a starting point to write your content better and cover the content, the topics that you need to in order to rank for this keyword. All right, aside from topics also, we give AI also suggests title tags for you that are already taking the general recommendations for good title tag in mind, which is the topic of your post, but also includes your target keyword, and it's like relatively short, right? So you have all these suggestions here. You can regenerate them if you wish. The same for meta descriptions. Here, like you can see the ideas that are generated by AI, but also you can compare it with your competitors. It's here. You can see these are your competitors here. So you have like a good place to see what already exists as well as suggestions from AI, and from there have a informed decision on how you're going to write your product your article description. All right, same thing for headings. You can see your competitors' headings all in one place, and you can use that to compare that to your headings here to see how it can improve. Make sure that it's doing, make sure that you are writing this with the key knowledge of the competitors that outrank you. See whether or not you are covering it correctly, or whether it is written in the voice or the style that you think would benefit, that they would be most interesting to your readers. Right? The headings are generic in terms of entities and keywords related to the topic. Yeah, this is the purpose of this demo. Like I've created a lot of generic stuff here, but you can see how it can quickly put everything. It's not just like what AI generates. It's also having a quick way to have your competitors' content side by side with what you're writing, so that you know you are writing this in context of what you're competing against. Yeah, I don't, like in reality, you would not be writing this fast. I'm going very fast just to show you how exactly this editor works. And in reality, I think it's a more curated process about, doing your research or bringing in your own internal experience and putting it on a page. But what AI Content Helper is very good at doing is making sure that you cover the topics your competitors already cover. Right, and this is done via AI. So AI is not creating that content for you. It's doing that checks and research for you, and having it, helpfully on the side, so that you can make sure that your content coverage is up to par with your competitors. You can, I think you can. I'm not sure. Is there no feature to suggest SEO headings? I'm gonna try here. That's a good question. Yeah, I know. So, but here there's no currently it doesn't suggest. So I'm gonna try doing an AI chat. Is what I'm just trying to do here. Yeah, so you can use AI chat to do that. You can also ask AI chat to suggest headers because it already has context of what you have written, and it also has context of the topic. In this case, that I said I want to cover better. So I suggested a topic here. Again, this is, and then if you want to go into like more advanced prompting, this is true for any AI that you use, that like you really have, you can go into more detail here in terms of how you want to create your, like your heading You say, I want it to be within a number of characters. I want to make sure that includes certain words. I want it in a, like, you know, clean formal style or casual style or contrarian style, whatever it is. That's up to you to prompt and create. And also, so this AI content helper, what it does is also it scores you against your competitors. So like it scores your content here, but it also scores to say, okay, how well do your competitors score in terms of their content coverage? Not every one of them are great despite their ranking. You can use that as an opportunity to see how you can improve against your competitor, right? You can see the details here. So the content is directly inside, and that gives you like a quick way to make sure to compare side by side whether or not your content is good enough or how it looks like. I think here it's the text, but what it most likely also contains is a bunch of pictures about the logs and things like that. Just to clarify, I've been using Ahrefs since 2018, so I'm really interested in all the new features, not criticizing him. That's all right. I just hope that what we shared here is useful. And yeah, I mean, AI Content Helper is one of the many tools out there that, you know, use AI to help improve your writing. So in our approach, we try to look into ways that help to really automate the grunt work, but leave the creativity and the driving wheel to you still. You should be the ones that saying, okay, I need, like, you know, it gives you the opportunity to say, I want to rank for something. I have an idea of how I want to write for certain content. I would use AI Content Helper to make sure that its coverage of topics is optimized, and I will use AI chat here to help me get the ideas I need in order to improve my writing rather than just create the writing for you. Can you tell if it's accessible in other languages? I believe it is. Let me see if I can find the settings. I believe the way that it should work. Okay, so Anor, sorry, I'm not sure how to say your name. Can you give a keyword in a different language here? And yes, it does support other languages. But in order to demo this, I have to put in the keyword in a different language. So you can use AI Content Helper in multiple languages, but it's based on the keyword that you enter in at the top. And in terms of the languages that support it, it's all the languages that are supported on our platform itself. Here, go all the way down here. So all these languages here. We support these languages for now. More will be supported in the future. Okay, so we have this tool that is coming soon, but it's not ready yet. So this will help you build internal links to other parts of your website. Okay, I'm going to see if I can quickly demo this here. Do we support German? Deutsch? Yeah, we do. Yeah. So then you pick the intent that you want to optimize for. And if I'm not wrong, the AI chat also allows you to enter in content in German, and it will like reply back in German. All right, so this is something that you can do for multiple languages. It's not just English. So it's very helpful for if you're targeting multiple markets, especially if you're working in other languages. Okay, Anwar has asked a question about pricing. So you see that like all the suggestions here are in German. So in a supported language, it does work, right? So there you go. Pretty cool, huh? Again, AI Content Helper does not require you get, I think everyone who has a subscription gets one. So in AI Content Helper, you can have one document that you can use. And then if you want more, you buy the content kit. Yeah. Okay, and you can buy this no matter what plan you have. You can buy this, it doesn't matter what subscription plan you have. Enterprise subscribers have a even higher version of this. They basically have a lot more documents that you can write and like collaboration features, things like that. Okay, so that is AI Content Helper. Pretty cool tool, lots of helpful features. And more on the way. We are very happy for the people that already have shared their feedback on what sort of features that they want to see. We have this feedback portal here that you can share, like new features you like to see for this helper if you're already using it. Let's move on to Brand Radar. Now, this is not AI to help you do stuff. Brand Radar is a way in which you can monitor the trends of mentions of either keywords, brands, and things in AI content, AI overviews, in search volume, as well as in web pages. And I will show you where this tool is. One second. Okay, so get out of this here. Let's go to Brand Radar. Brand Radar is in beta, so if you have a paid subscription, you can use this for free and as much as you want while it was in beta. But afterwards, like the other tools, it will be a paid add-on once it's a bit more stable. So as I mentioned earlier, so if you like to monitor what AI is talking about you, especially in AI overviews, this is the tool to use. So for example, I want to, like just now we spoke about, let's pick a suggestion that someone else made earlier in terms of things to monitor the trends for. One that I saw was interesting was sustainable palm oil. So let's do sustainable palm oil. Hopefully we have enough. It's a very small number. So let's do some suggestions here. There you go. Again, you see, because we have this icon, if I want to have mentions of brands, products, or services, I can have that suggestion here. This is a bit of a niche like section, so we don't have a lot of data. But let's go ahead and like explore this and see what we see. So we can see that some topics are mentioned a lot more than others here. Yeah, we can see them also over time. So AI overviews mentioning this topic only really started in 5th November 2024 last year. This is for all locations. So it is not just the US, this is for all locations. You can see that over time, one particular brand, entity in this case, has showed up more and more in search results that contained the word sustainable palm oil. Yeah, let's do another one that people have suggested here. I'm just gonna put sleeper trains. All right, let's do sleeper trains. These are sleeper trains. It does include some that are not in Europe. And for the purposes of this, so you can filter this data set. Here we're only seeing like keywords or AI overviews. Keywords or AI overviews that mention this keyword. We say we only want to look at these kind of AI overviews. I can choose to leave this empty and just do the full data set here. And I can search for mentions of brands and products or services related to these that I've just added in. So not surprisingly, India Airways is the highest. because there's lots of mentions of India where railways. I think presumably the search for it is very high. We can see how much of the mentions have increased over time. If I only want to see, this is for keyword or overview. Let's say I only want to see mentions in AI overview, not keywords. Right? I can do that as well. And what I can also do is look into the domains that show up the most. So when AI overview is generated at the very top of search results, they link to different links at the bottom, and like you get to see what are the links, the domains that show up the most. In this case, these are mostly not like these are just YouTube, Wikipedia, Reddit, Quora. So these are basically it's showing what are the domains that are influencing most the responses in AI overviews for these particular brands. Brands. Okay, so now it says mentions, but also there's impressions. So you can see the mentions weighed against keyword search volume to estimate the visibility, right? So even though you can have many mentions, you might have a keyword that is being mentioned a lot against keywords that have very low search volume. So it doesn't matter. So it's very important to compare it against what exactly are the keywords that are being searched for, where your brand shows up, right? And you get to see the AI overviews themselves, the raw AI overviews themselves, in the table below here. And for example, if I want to see, let's say I want to filter this down, and I want to see AI overview results that does not mention Indian Railways, right? But mentions all this. Let's say Euronight and Nightjet. Here we go. Now I can see what are the keywords people are searching for that don't talk about India Railways. And you can see with the flag on the side here, these are the countries that these keywords are being searched in. So, and then I can see the AI overviews as well. It's a very useful way to really monitor what different entities or different brands are being showed up or being mentioned, both as a search query, but also as a result in AI. Can we set the time period in Brand Radar tool? Yeah, so you can. So you can pick. Under the chart. Here you go. You can see today, yesterday, a week ago, a month ago. It also depends on when the data starts. So AI overviews was rolled out by Google over time, and it was not to every country at the beginning. So the data for AI overviews may stop 6 months in the past and stuff like that. But there's no sign that Google will stop pushing out AI overviews soon. So this data is only going to grow. You get to see more examples of what AI overview shows in Google search results. Yeah, so, and I'll quickly show that you can see this in other non-AI related stuff, even though it's not the topic of today's webinar, but you can also check for mentions of these same keywords in web pages. So instead of looking at keyword and AI overview, you can check in title and content. And what this helps you do, and why it's important, is because the web pages that mention this feed the AI overview SERP results, right? So you have to see what are the pages out there and the mentions of it, and where these domains that I'm mentioning, all these these keywords that either an entity that you're trying to get to show up more in AI overview, but also rank higher, and the kind of like context of which it is being mentioned around to give information that feeds into AI overview. So this is choosing this web visibility option is very helpful in checking for this. You can see what pages mention these entities, how they're mentioned, how well they're ranking, what sort of traffic they get, right? And we will do this for more and more different sources later on. I'll get into more detail later about this. The results show mentions. Are there also numbers available for citations? Okay, citations as in research paper citations, or just showing up in web pages? Because if it's just web pages, this is what we're showing right now. If you choose the web visibility option, you can see where it's being mentioned in the page and the surrounding text. Yeah. So if it's scientific citations, no. But yeah. But if it's just like mentions in web pages, then this is the option to choose. I looked up the mentions on my company as a brand. What will be your suggestions for action points based on the results? There is, I believe, one of our blogs that covered this. Here. Recently, just came out recently. Go ahead and share it in the chat for you guys. Our wonderful Louise. Oops. And the team has worked on this particular blog. That basically covers what are the factors to keep in mind to improve your brand visibility in AI overviews, based on the analysis, based on like the data we analyzed across all the AI overviews that we have collected. So I think it'll be a useful place to analyze what are the useful ways to rank, but and be shown in AI overviews. And like with these factors here, for example, it talks about like offsite factors, and mentions in other pages, what sort of pages, what sort of domains. You can then go back to Brand Radar itself to see the links that it uses, but also you can then again open this in Keywords Explorer and see the top SERP results that are influencing what AI Overview says. You can see here, this is where AI Overview shows up for Sleeper Train Europe. All right, so this is what Brand Radar can help you do. I think the citations as being the source of link in the answer, I believe it is on screen now, Roy. You can see for AI Overview, the links are here. So it does show you, oops, what links were being shown in the AI Overview. And I think it's not shown here, but sometimes AI Overview is generated without any links. Not every AI Overview has a link, but in this case, like the AI Overview has links you can use. It's being shown here at the bottom, so it's very useful to then cross-check what AI Overview says with the links that they're linking to in one place. Okay? Any questions about Brand Radar before we move on? There's a lot of options with this. I'm just giving you a brief overview of the things that you can do. Right? You can compare this against show the graph as an absolute comparison against like all your competitors here in the that entities that you've entered in here. If I take this away, I think there's not enough data to do a comparison. Let's say I take away India Air Railways because it's so much bigger than the other products. I can see here it's more comparison like earlier there were more mentions of Caledonian Sleeper, and that eventually was overtaken by Nightjet in terms of number of mentions. All right. So these are useful ways in which you can use that graph to see how a brand or entity is being mentioned over time. So you can do that for your own brands, you can do it for your competitors' brands, you can do this for, like, if we mentioned products or services. So let's say you can even put in, like, let's say I want to put in hiking, right? And instead of putting brands, like different hiking brands here, I can talk about guides, I can talk about checklists, I can talk about trails, you know, like things like that. I don't have to put in a brand. I can put in books, I can put in like influencers, and do that instead. Okay, trails is the highest. We kind of expected this, but then you can see, you know, like if you can go through this, you can see how when someone searches about hiking, like what people are typically are looking for over time, because they show up in like AI overviews and stuff. Okay, so hopefully that is cool. Check this tool out. Share feedback about it. Things you'd like to see for this tool while it's free, you know, for a paid subscriber, and that'll be very useful for our team to improve this tool continuously. Okay, we look forward to your feedback on this. Okay, we have a few minutes left. I hope that you guys have a bit of time to see what we have to say about this next feature, which is Batch AI. This one's very quick. We just want to show you its capabilities, and it requires you to have a Project Boost add-on. But for example, here I have boosted one project here to max, and it's part of the patches tool. So we recently pushed out a feature where you can, let's say here, let's say with all these features here, I have a number of pages that are having title too long or meta description too short, and things like that. And you see that there's a bolt here. And the bolt here means that you can hover over it and it shows you what it says. It says this issue has fields that can be patched. And so instead of bothering your developer or working, let's say if you just want to do some like quick testing and it's very difficult to do it at scale for 1,200 pages, you can do it just within Site Audit itself. Let's say here, and patch it over here. Okay, so if you have set up patches, which you require to set up, there are a few ways to do it. We offer the Cloudflare method and the JavaScript method, where you just add in a JavaScript snippet onto your web page, or you configure it in Cloudflare so that whatever content you like change here automatically gets updated on your website. Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks, Dusan. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go back a bit. Let's go to all issues. So this is your site audit. And the bolt I was talking about is this one here. So all of these issues, if you want to improve them, you can use patches to do it. You don't have to go bother your developer, or let's say you want to do like a quick A/B test without going to a tool and updating pages one by one. Just set it up once with patches, and you can update it, change the content of your meta description inside Audit itself. and patch it. So you can either do this manually, like I can change this manually. I can write whatever I want here. Whatever I want. And like once it's set up, it will like update the meta description to this. Or I can ask AI, and what it does is that it will suggest based on the content of the page. And I can add it as a draft. Then if I want, I can do it for all 1,200 pages, right? So I'm not gonna do it now because this does take a while, but I can generate for titles or meta descriptions, right? And what after it generates, this is what it looks like. It will draft for you, and you can go through them to see whether or not this works out as meta descriptions that you want to use. And from there, you can then deploy. Yeah? So once it's set up. So this is, so then like if I deploy and I push these patches live, then I immediately improve the meta descriptions for all 1,200 of these pages. So that's what AI can help you do in the Batch AI feature. Okay? And if you like this feature, you require Product Boost Match Max, which is $200 US dollars per month per project. Slightly different depending on the currency that you're paying in. All right, in this case, this is for one particular project that I have boosted just to show you guys like how this feature works. So that is if you like to get access to this tool. Okay, now I'd like to go into what is coming up next at Ahrefs. So we're not stopping here with the AI tools. We're going to push out a lot more interesting stuff in the coming weeks, in the coming months. And first one I want to talk about is, you saw earlier with Brand Radar that you can see the data for AI overviews and web visibility and search demand. Soon we will have it for ChatGPT and Perplexity results. And what ChatGPT and Perplexity says. You can monitor for different entities and brands in that. And it will come out when it comes out. This is highly requested because I think many of us are curious or even worried to know how well our brands are being mentioned or being suggested by these particular highly commonly used platforms. So stay tuned for that. The next one is MCP server. So for those of you that are not familiar with what MCP server means, MCP stands for Model Context Protocols. These are like the bridges that let AI talk to other apps like HubSpot or GitHub. There are a lot of these other companies that have created an MCP server that allows like AI to directly use and perform data from like HubSpot, GitHub, and other like companies that have developed already on this protocol. So you directly use the data from these other tools or even perform actions on behalf, right? So we will soon offer support for this that uses the Ahrefs API. Right, this is an example of how, in this case, Claude AI is using our Keywords Explorer Matching Terms API to generate data, to fetch data about keywords related to SEO tools. In fact, I had the screen earlier that I can show you something that I shared earlier, that I've generated earlier. So in this case, I've tested MCP server where I've asked Claude to find like my top 10 organic competitors, analyze their top pages, and analyze the keywords that these pages rank for, and use that to make a report about how my competitor strategizes their SEO, right? And so based on that, Claude AI uses the Ahrefs API to fetch top pages, organic keywords, did it for every one of our competitors here, and generated a report for me. right? So stay tuned. So this is something that you can do, and then you don't need to be experts on how to use API. You can do it directly from your favorite AI tool that supports MCP. Okay? And finally, bot or not. So we actually teased this in the Ahrefs Evolve last year, now conference in Singapore. But I can give you a sneak peek about like the different ways in which we are trying to analyze whether something on the web is AI generated or not. This is not a trivial task, and it's something that we want to do it at scale. So as more and more people use AI in their content, we want to see how much of it is being used by AI. The goal is also to be able to identify potentially like even what AI they use to generate their content that is in these like articles that you're looking at, all these web pages. So you'll be able to check this and get a understanding of how much of it, vague, like roughly is AI generated versus human, for example. So this is the future that we're looking at. It's coming soon. So there you go. That's all I have to share for today. Are there any questions? We'll now open the floor to any questions, Ahrefs related, not just for today. Any questions at all about today's content? I think Rebecca has been very helpful in helping to answer all the questions that were asked as we went along in today's webinar. This webinar will be like saved and like as a video on our YouTube channel that you can come back to. What link you have now in the browser, you can just go back to this link and you'll get the replay already. Yes. Hope that answers your question, Sadie. Will there be separate tutorials for each new tool on the Ahrefs channel? I think what we'll try to do is we'll try to push out as much information about our new tools either in video form or in our blogs. And eventually they will get added to our Ahrefs Academy, which currently has all the main videos, but like that gets updated every so often. So in particular, it is the how to use, so hold on. So, oops, sorry. Copy. Here. So we have this course that covers all our tools. It will get updated with the new tools, but currently it has all our existing tools, and over time we push out blogs as well as help articles on our new tools. And as much as I try to, I will cover like especially some of these bigger tools like AI Content Helper in our webinars. But there are more. So for example, Rank Tracker recently just got upgraded. A lot of the new reports have a lot more functionality than it used to. That will be in a separate webinar, things like that. And you can ask questions about them here, as well as ask them to our live chat, which is at the bottom here if you want to chat with us. So if you have any questions about how to try any of these tools, you can send a message to our help support and say, I need help for Like I'm in this tool, I need some suggestions on how to configure this and that, things like that. Most welcome to everyone that have said thank you to this webinar. Glad that you find it useful. Anyone else has questions? I'm just gonna quickly scroll through here to see if there were any questions that were not answered, but I think Rebecca did a fantastic job. Shout out to Rebecca in helping me today answer the questions that you guys have in the chat. Thank you so much. Okay. If there are no questions, sorry, no name. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think that is an Ahrefs question. I can help to answer questions about our platform. Sorry, I think the yelling behind might be my son. So I'm sorry about that. But otherwise, okay, yes, and if you are on a plan that is on credits, so the new subscription plans that uses the credits are only starter and light. So if you have a standard subscription, it should not be, you basically should have effectively unlimited usage or unlimited reasonable use. Now you should not be worrying about credits. Although you notice that I have the AI content helper here, and it does show you how many documents you can use for this month. So it does reset. So this limit goes down every time you create a document. So it's not how many documents you have. If you create a document and then you delete it, it still uses up a document available for the month. Okay? That's something to keep in mind. And to have some, if you want to see what your plan currently has, so currently I'm in account settings. This is where I am. I go down here to billing and subscriptions. You can see now there's like a sheer number of add-ons that you can add. Okay, the one that it currently is added is AI Content Helper. I also have Report Builder and Max Projects added here for the purposes of doing this demo. But you'll get to see what is added to your plan here, and you can buy, you can add more. Oops, sorry. But in this case, if you check in your account settings, you'll be able to add whatever it is that you'd like to add to your plan. And also you do need to be the billing owner in order to do this. If you need the permissions to be able to add to your plan, that's also like a given. But just in case you find that you're not able to click any of these, you please contact your billing owner for your subscription. Okay, I think we are good. Oh, there's one more question by Dusan. Tracking traffic long-term is affected by keyword updates by Ahrefs, so only trends can be indicative of traffic. Dusan, I'm not sure what you are referring to. Sorry. Are you referring to the fact that in Site Explorer, so his question is that like our estimates are based on how often, I think, how often keywords have their SERPs updated. So here, right? So for example, Ahrefs.com ranks for Ahrefs, and we estimate traffic based on the position that Ahrefs.com ranks for Ahrefs in this case. So because it ranks in position 1, I'm going to remove this for the purposes of explanation here. Ahrefs.com ranks for position 1. Based on this position, we estimate the click-through rate and multiply that with its search volume. So we multiply that with a search volume, and that results in the amount of traffic. So its position in the SERP will affect how much traffic we estimate for it. And there will be keywords that never get updated. I think they get like updated like once a month, once in 40 days, something like that. So here you can see that it's updated 2 minutes ago. I can filter it for the opposite, where there are keywords that have not been updated since last year, right? How can this be improved? This update is like on our system where we prioritized keywords with higher search volume. Keywords with very high search volume generally have a more, like we update SERPs more, and keywords with lower search volume, we update less. Our database of keywords is like in the billions. So we prioritize based on that, based on the behavior that we see, how SERPs change over time in Google. And that helps us like guesstimate as closely as possible to the search volume, to the traffic that a website receives. If you find that your traffic estimation for your web, again, these are all estimations, so it would definitely not necessarily match your website exactly. And if you find that the discrepancy in what we estimate versus what your website actually gets is really off, please contact our search team. Please contact our support team here and share the example, like explain and give us some information about why like you see the data is very off, like maybe we estimated too high, too low or something, and from there our team will investigate to see why there is such a gap. But generally these are estimations, so there will be some discrepancy. Okay. Like in 12 months I record my client's traffic. Okay, sorry, I'm reading Dusan's question here. And after a few months, the metrics for the previous months change, so the clients get confused. There have been times where we had to update our keyword database. And when we do that, sometimes we change how much we estimate the search volume is for in previous months. But all of this is because we find that there is a closer estimate than we had previously. So like estimating search volume for a keyword is an iterative process. We try to improve it over time. And sometimes we find that there are either bugs or there are better ways to estimate the search volume, especially for these like keywords that have very small search volume. This is like very difficult generally to estimate. So like sometimes we change this search volume estimation. When this changes, the data does retroactively change. There's very little we can do about that, but if we do that, we try to make it better. And again, as I mentioned earlier, these are estimations. I think I would be more worried that if you use a tool like one of our tools like our web analytics, for example, that is actually on your website and the data is off, like you have evidence that like the estimated clicks are wrong, that you should definitely reach out to us and we have to investigate. Okay, web analytics is also a webinar we'll cover later on, not today. But I hope that answers your question, Dusan, about what happens when traffic estimations retroactively change in the past. Yeah. Gianluca asks, are there more practical examples and use cases of Brand Radar you can recommend? Okay, so today I covered comparing entities. I showed comparing brands. I showed how to search for AI overviews that mention one thing but not the other. What if I just suggest with nothing? Okay, just give some random cars. Car brands. Alright, let's just put this here so we have some data to deal with. I think the main things that I've found useful is not just brands, but also being able to analyze trends of specific like products or services that I mentioned earlier with like tools or guides, trails. So that was the other use case that I shared. I think if you want to share your industry, I can think of like other use cases that might be relevant to you, Gianluca. But these are the main ones that you can do. And then the goal here is that you want to understand what AI overview is saying over time. All right, and that depends on the industry, what is important to you. Are you worried? Are you concerned about, like for example, if you are a e-commerce business, maybe you want to see which influencers are more popular over time. They kept getting more mentions in AI overviews, and then I might search for that. That is what I'll enter in here, like influencer names. Maybe I want to look into different platforms and how often they're being mentioned, like TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, something like that. So I think it starts from trying to understand what you want to see, what you're looking to see as a trend over time that AI overview starts giving answers about. Sometimes I want to know what AI overview is saying. Like let's say I want to see what AI overview is saying for these brands. Maybe I want to find, I can apply it. Then I can see what are the keywords that are prompting these AI overview results, right? Here. Let me give one example. Let's say mentions of brands Ahrefs, just one brand. And I want to now search for AI overviews that contain Ahrefs all rules that also, and then no, sorry, AI overview that contains Ahrefs and keywords that contain AI. So what I'm doing here is searching for keywords where if there people are searching about AI, Ahrefs like shows up. My brand shows up, right? Okay, you can see there AI SEO tools, ad generators, things like that. So even though we are not the top AI image generator, because we wrote a review on the top AI generator tools, we showed up in AI overviews. Is a good example. That's another use case for you. So I hope that's useful. Okay, any more questions? We have about 5 minutes left here, if there are any more questions. I should have mentioned this about 20 minutes ago, but after today's webinar, there will be an email sent out to share feedback about today's webinar. I'm always looking to improve our webinars here in Ahrefs. If you have suggestions on how we can make it better, new topics you'd like to see have a webinar about, please share that in our feedback form. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end the webinar for today here. Thank you so much for everyone that have joined today's webinar and for those that have shared their questions. I hope that you get a glimpse of our sparkling new AI tools, as well as some exciting AI tools coming up in Ahrefs. I hope you have the great rest of your day and hope to see you at the next webinar. Take care, everyone. Have a good day. And I'll see you later.